Greetings from Tokyo. Hello there. Or should I say cheers from Tokyo? I'm not sure how that goes. Greetings from Tokyo sounds better, doesn't it? How's my mic here? Sort of like greetings from Asbury Park. Remember that one? Remember that one? All you music people out there. Of course, Bruce Springsteen and the E Street Band. Greetings from Asbury Park, which of course used the postcard, right? Used the postcard graphic for that great album cover. I think that was his first. Was that his first album? I'm not sure. One of the early ones, though. Yeah. So how you doing today? I just thought I would get this episode out, this edition out, this installment out, whatever word you want to use for the podcast episodes. Yeah. So I'm your host and humble servant, Robbie Reilly, here in Tokyo, Japan. Inokashira Koen, Inokashira Park area, Kichijoji, Tokyo. Very fashionable. In fact, it's voted the most fashionable place, or I think it's the most desirable place to live in Japan. Now, don't take my word for it. Or maybe it's for Tokyo. I think it has to be Tokyo. I don't think that would be Japan because there's so many. I mean, you got Kyoto, Kamakura, so many places. But maybe it's Tokyo. Yeah, the most desirable place to live in Tokyo, Kichijoji. This is where I'm at. Now, I'm not sure I agree with that. In fact, I don't agree with that, but it is a cool place, and it's got some fun stuff here, which you've probably seen online and so forth. But today I thought we'd go through a couple of I just love to take pictures. I love to shoot video. I was going to say film. I know we're not using that word anymore. I still say film, right? Shoot video. We're not shooting video either, by the way. It's not really video. I don't think you could call it, well, digital video, but I mean, video is video for tape. So I'm not even sure video is a proper word. But anyway, I love to capture moments, let's say. I love to capture moments out there in the real world, in Japan and in other places, but definitely while I'm here. Let me just make sure I'm gonna make sure my audio is okay. I hope you guys are not, plugging up your ears. I hope I'm not coming in too hot. Hot. What was that? Buster Poindexter. Hot. Yeah, I hope I'm not coming in too hot there on the audio scales. We'll try to back up a bit, and every time we need to cough, like now, we'll do that. We'll not cough into the microphone. I used to have a friend who, whenever I talked to him on the phone, it was almost like clockwork. He would cough into the phone, and for those of you who remember the old phones, where it was a handset, and it was almost a tight seal on your ear, so you really had great audio reception. You could really hear what the person was saying very clearly, not like today with smartphones. But yeah, the old phone, I'd be listening and the guy would cough every time and it would like blow my ear out. Come on, Chuck, don't do that. And then later when we were on ham radio, because I do some ham radio, he'd do the same thing in the mic. Crazy. Anyway, so I hope I'm not doing that. I hope I'm not pulling a Chucky there. Hopefully not. But in fact, I'll take a sip of my beverage of the day. That's good juice. No, actually, it's just water, but I did put some juice in it. I did put a little bit of Okinawan lime juice. Let me show you what that is. Hold on. Right up here, bottle. Oh, break it. Got the bottle here. Very pricey stuff here. Very pricey. Look at this. Can you see that? Oh, wait a minute. Can we see? Yeah. There you go. Sakusawa. Yeah. Sakusawa. Is that backwards? Are you getting mirror? Yeah. Shikuse. How does that go? I'm not sure. And katakana. It's mixing the katakana. It's interesting. Mixing katakana with kanji there. That's sort of an odd one for me. But anyway, 100% premium. You can see the little guys there, the lime, the picture there. And this stuff is so potent. Oh my gosh. If you were to drink it straight out of here, Elon Musk wouldn't need rock. You wouldn't need Elon Musk to send you to Mars. You know, you could launch yourself with the citric acid alone on that. Remember those old I just saw it yesterday actually on YouTube. Those old toys, those old rocket toys, where you put water in them and you pump it. It was red and white, right? Red or clear and white. And you'd pump it and then I think you just released something. Man, they were so much fun. Remember how far, how high up they went? I mean, we're talking basically a really deadly weapon. Did you ever point them at your? I think we did. I'm pretty sure I pointed it at a friend or two, or my brother, or he pointed at me, over the years. So yeah, it's a wonder we're still alive. Anyway, so yeah, so today I thought I would take a look at some of those pictures, and actually video that I've taken lately, and this way, you know, you can get a look at what's going on over here, and and also these are videos that maybe they're really short, you know, so I don't really put them up on YouTube or anything, and I've got so many of them. So I just was looking at a couple today, and I thought, oh, you know, this is kind of cool. These are kind of interesting things to look at, to talk to people about, um, back home, back in the States, and elsewhere around the world, wherever you are. And I hope you are in a lot of different places. That'd be great to get listeners in and viewers in from all over the world. But we'll settle for what we can get. Let's see. So where the heck did I put those? Okay, here we go. So we've got what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna screen share for now, because I'm just gonna do it on the fly. I'm just gonna see how this works. So bear with me. I could, do like everybody else does, normal people, and just actually, do it in the editing and then show you the video in the editing. But, we're going to go through my my videos, my files. So it's sort of like that. We're going to be sort of searching for stuff. So that's why I'm doing it this way. And I don't know how it's going to turn out. This is a new thing, a new experiment. We'll see. We'll see what happens. I'm just curious George. That's not actually Curious George, but that's a monkey. It's one of the this is actually one of the favorite. I'm a teacher here, and elementary, actually kindergarten now, kindergarten, junior, elementary, junior high, and senior high, a little bit of college too. So but this past year has been my first time to teach kindergarten and elementary. Oh my gosh. Ooh, those kids have so much energy, but just darling. But I'm used to teaching junior and senior high. And I'll tell you what, this animal here, this guy, I have a lot of stuffed animals. Sylvester back there. And I bring them to school. I bring them to class, and I have a little rubber ducky, a yellow rubber ducky I use. He's up there somewhere. I use Oscar from Sesame Street. I've got so many stuffed animals, and I basically, it's just part of my lesson, the style of my teaching. And sometimes I'll throw them at a student who I see is like they're getting sleepy, or they're looking at their math homework or something. Or just, it got to the point where whenever I enter the class, the students are screaming, they want me to throw an animal at them so they can catch it, And at the end of the class, they'll throw it back at me, and I'll have the bag, and they'll try to get it in the bag. These are all girls, by the way. I just teach girls. So it's amazing how athletic girls are when they're by themselves, when they're not with boys, right? When it's not a mixed class, when it's just, I've been teaching just girls, all girls schools, at all girls schools for a long time. It's kind of scary how many years I've been doing this. But originally I came here on JET program from university. I was recruited right out of university. So I haven't really ever had a real job. But anyway, and that was mixed. That was co-ed. That was the public school system. Now I teach in the private school system. So Ojo-sama, I teach, which translates to the privileged class, the prestigious, the elites. I teach the elites. Number one, number two school, both I teach at. Or have taught at. So we're talking really, really well-cultured kids. But they're crazy. They're animals, They're wonderful. And I'll throw these animals at them, and it's amazing how active they can get, and how like I said, athletic they can be when there aren't boys in the class. Because I've taught that too, like I said, and when I compare the two, I mean, this shouldn't be a shocker, right? This should totally make sense. I mean, when the opposite sex is in the room, you're obviously going to act differently, right? I mean, I did. So I mean, thinking back to when I was in junior high or senior high, I mean, you were nervous as hell when there were, pretty girls in the class or somebody you liked, or even any girl in the class. You were nervous as hell. You didn't act like you normally did. And of course, there were some guys who did, or some guys who overdid it and were jerks or whatever. And, we all know them. But generally, the average guy, the average boy at that time, you're kind of like, uh-oh, what should I do? And girls the same way. But when they're by themselves, when it's just girls in my case, for my students, wow, they just is like, it's like a circus in there. It's great. The amount of energy. Oh my God. If we could just harness it for good. Anyway, let's get to some of this here. So I'm getting off track here. And looks like I got something on my mouth here. I can't quite tell, but we'll take care of it in post, as they say. Yeah, let's take a look at some of the videos that I took. Now I put one up the other day of Shohei. Well, let's just show you. Let's just show you Shohei. This is Shohei in Tokyo. Well, actually, no, it's not really, but you'll see what I mean. See if I can find it. That's kind of the thing. So I have to actually find it. So we're going to I'm just going to just bear with me a second here as I date edit. I think that's always good. I don't know about you, but if for those people who have Macs out there, just the way that they store the way that they sort the videos is kind of odd. I don't really think I agree with it, but let's just, I think I got it right here. No, not quite. But let's see. Oh, you know what I do? I do have it right here. There it is. Okay. Okay, I'm going to share the screen now, and let's hope this works. I'm gonna set it, optimum for video. By the way, are these glasses okay? Are these working out okay? Because are you getting are you getting sort of a Cylon thing with my eyes going red or something? Where are the Cylons? Battlestar Galactica. I've got these other ones here. Are these better? Am I doing that kind of Rachel Maddow thing? I don't want to do that. God, like what's his name? Mark Cuban. I think I can see better with these anyway. Then there's these. I think these are best, right? Isn't this best? This is really the way to go, isn't it? Sort of a Peter Fonda kind of thing going. But can't see anything with it. All right, so let's get back to reality here. All right, here we go. How's this? Is this okay? I think it's good enough. Good enough for government work. For all those who've worked in the government, you know what I mean. And I don't mean the recent federal stuff. I don't mean that. Maybe I shouldn't go there. No, I was in, for those in the military, so we good enough for government work. Former Air Force here, so that's why. Anyway, let's go to the video. Share screen. Okay, yeah, I'm going to share the sound too, so I think you can hear me at the same time. But we are going to do that. And for some reason, let's see, desktop 2. Yes, should be right here. Okay, here we go. Desktop 2. Let's do it. Okay, so yeah, now you're seeing desktop, a window there. And I don't think you can see me anymore, but that's okay. Maybe you don't want to see me anymore. And yeah, so here we go. Let's do this. Right, so we'll start off here at this one. And I can't really see what you're seeing. That's the problem with this. I have a setting where I can do share screen side by side, zoom action. But you know what it does? I discovered what it does. It sounded so cool. I was like, yeah, I'll be on one side, and then the video will be in the other, and I can sort of look to the right as if I'm looking at a monitor there, right? But actually, no, it doesn't work that way. It just sticks 2 videos side by side. So it expands the canvas. So you're like 3,000, 4,000 pixels wide now. Holy cow. Right now I'm running HD, normal, just standard HD, not 4K, but it bangs it up to like a 4K thing to stick that other video in there. I don't have the room for that. And I don't think that's going to show properly on YouTube either. So we're just going to go with it this way. Okay, enough talking. Here we go. Let's open this up. And I'm just going to open up the preview just so it opens up quickly. Let's try this here. Got a Shohei
Boss Coffee taxi there. Look at that.
Yeah.
I've never seen a brown taxi in Japan before.
So that's me, in
Okay.
Shibuya talking.
That's nice. You're in
Let's see.
Shibuya. Whoa. Yeah,
Yeah,
they're tearing down the station over there.
I'm
It's
sure
like
we're.
all, the entire station's gone. Used to be all where that construction is now. It's all gone. Redoing the whole thing. Crazy.
Okay. So there you go. And we'll stop that here. Okay, we're back to me, I guess. I hope. So there you have we had the Shohei taxi. Did you see that? Um, Pretty cool. It was like a chocolate covered chocolate. I should be looking at the camera, sorry. Chocolate covered taxi. I've never seen one of these. Let's take a look at it again. And I hope you were able to hear the audio because you just hear the cacophony of Shibuya noises there. It's kind of cool. Let's do that again. So we got share sound and it should be desktop too. And oh wait, sorry, yeah, Finder. Actually, you know what? We can go into the Finder, so it'll actually limit it. That's even better. Let's try that. Okay, yeah. So it's the Finder. It keeps it the Finder there, and then we'll just do this.
Got a Shohei Boss Coffee taxi there. Look at that. I've never seen a brown taxi in Japan before. Okay. That's nice. You're in Shibuya. Whoa.
Okay, I'll stop it there, or at least I'll mute it there. Yeah, it gets pretty rough. Um, People who cycle through Tokyo, I gotta hand it to them. They're braver men than I am, Gungadin. I mean, no thanks. I mean, Japanese drivers are actually quite good. They're really good because they have to go through so much to get a license. Um, but but damn, I mean, I ride a motorbike on the streets and
Got a show.
and it's pretty treacherous, pretty scary stuff there. Yes, Shohei there. I'm not sure if I zoom in if this is going to work. Maybe it will. No, I guess it just keeps it the same. Um, and that's my bank actually, SMBC, Sumitomo Mitsui Bank, Banking Corporation there. So there's yeah, Shohei on the, let's see if we can get back to him. Yeah, there he is. So Shohei's on the taxi here. Um, and like I said, this is the first time I've ever seen a chocolate covered, and I call it chocolate because it was a brown chocolate covered taxi, a brown taxi at all in Japan, ever. It's crazy. And the reason is, you may be wondering why it is brown, is because see Boss, it says there on the door, Boss. It's Boss Coffee. That's a company that makes canned coffee, basically canned coffee. Yeah. So not the great stuff, but canned stuff. And um, and I think I might have another uh shoo. Yeah. Oh, here we go. Let's try this. Here's an actual photo of it. Oh, it's the same thing. Okay. Just same thing. Just maybe just I just took a couple of still photos of it so we can see. Same, pretty much the same view. Okay, never mind. Never mind. Oh, take a look at this. This is Green Dolphin Street here. Now, for those jazz people out there, you know Green Dolphin Street, right? Hitsville. Finger stomping. What is it? Finger stomping, finger snapping music. Hitsville. Uh, yeah, bars in Japan have a lot of really cool names. Very unique. Very unique. I was told I shouldn't say that. Don't say very unique because it's either unique or it's not. You know, you can't be very unique. Here's some sakura. So talking about sakura. Um, I was out in the park. I live right next to the park. Like I said, my station is Inokashira Koen, which means Inokashira Station. Yeah, I'm sorry, Inokashira Park Station. inokashira koen eki. So this is inokashira koen. This is the inokashira park. It's hard to say that. Shouldn't keep saying that. Probably not good for me. And yeah, so here you can see this might actually be ume. This might actually be plum and not sakura. I'm not sure. I think it's sakura, but it came out a bit early. So, but just beautiful, aren't they beautiful? Let's take a look at some more here. Yeah, just gorgeous stuff. This lady making her way there with there was a guy sitting. Not sure if you can see him there. No, he's not there today. But he often sits over there and he plays an electric, not an, okay, he plays an electronic guitar. Not an electric, an electronic guitar. So it's just all electronic. It's not not electric guitar, it's an electronic guitar. And it has no real body. It's like a long neck. It's just like a neck, with frets on it. And don't fret. And he plays sort of like Fish, Fish, the band P.I.s, Fish band, like this never-ending riff, just never-ending guitar riff. Just like I guess it's great if you're stoned. Um, but it becomes quite annoying after a few minutes, and you're like, dude, like get to a song or something, help us out here. Come on, throw me a bone. Yeah, it gets to be. But I guess if you're stoned, if you're riding high, it's great. It's wonderful. Here's more of the same area here. So it actually looks kind of cold in this picture, doesn't it? It wasn't. It was quite warm, quite warm. But the picture makes it look a bit cold. Yeah, just a gorgeous day in the park. And then you have this one here. Oh, here's some more. Let's see this one here. So yeah, some different kinds. And then you have this one. Take a look at this. This is kind of interesting. Now, for those people who are just listening, we were looking at sakura, cherry blossoms. And now we're looking at basically a tiny little, I call it the Charlie Brown sakura, Charlie Brown tree. It's the Charlie Brown sakura tree. So it's just a stump that used to be a tree, and they cut the top off. They cut the whole tree off, actually. It's just a stump, up to your knee. And then from the side of the stump is growing a small, very thin, very Charlie Brown branch. And at the end of that are not a bunch, but some pink flowers, sakura sprouting, just starting to sprout there. They also could be ume, I'm not sure, but I think it's sakura. And it's just thought like, what the heck? Why'd they cut this tree? Like, and then they keep this branch. Japanese like to do this. They like to prune everything. They prune everything. And some might even call it anal. Some may say detailed or very obsessed. I don't know what you want to call it, OCD. But they love to prune it. Like you'll never see overgrowth of trees on a street. You just will not see it in Tokyo. There's always somebody cutting branches, cutting off, trimming. That's why Japanese are gardeners, in Hollywood and Bel Air and all that. They hire Japanese because they just love it. They just love to trim trees. They love to trim bushes. They just love it. I don't know why. I don't know why. You tell me. I still don't know why. But they love it. And they're good at it. They're very good at it. They're masters at it. But the problem is that when you're really good at something, you like to do it all the time. So if you do it all the time, you end up running out of trees, right? So that's the problem in Tokyo. They do it so much that they literally have killed off so many trees because they've over pruned them. And the poor trees couldn't survive without branches and green to nourish them. So it's like pulling up roots. It's gotta feed. It's gotta live, baby. So they over prune these. I see it all the time. Anybody who's been in Japan for a long period of time recognizes it. When you first come to Japan, and of course when I did this too, same with me, you don't notice this stuff, right? You don't notice this stuff. It's only after, I would say, a year, consistently being in Japan for a year, you start to notice. You go through all the seasons, you start to notice things that you didn't notice before. When you first get here, the country is spotless. It's so clean, you can't believe it. You'd eat off the street. Everything is perfect. Everything is exactly as it should be in a perfect society. Everything works well. You know, just everything is where you want it to be. When you go to the store, you find what you want, and plus so much more. It's so safe. You walk out your door at 3 in the morning and you walk around the street and you see people and you see stores open and everything's fine and safe and dandy, and you're fat, dumb, and happy. Because you don't notice things until you've been here a while. You don't see because things are subtle. Things are subtle. And then after you've been here, let's say a year or more, you start to get kind of annoyed by things because you're like, wait, why they do that? Or how come they do this? Or why is it always this way? So you start to like, be a pain in the ass. You start to be a nagging, annoying person to be around. This happens to every foreigner who comes here. I don't care who you are. You're eventually going to get into this stage where you just start complaining. The bitter guy gene, we call it. The bitter guy gene. Um, and guy gene being a foreigner. And so, oh, by the way, before I go on to that rant, let me just finish with this wonderful little tree. So the tree has a sign on it. Now it says "Gambate," "Itemasu, ijime nai de ne." So basically, I'll do my best. Please don't bully me. In other words, stop cutting off my branches. Now the park actually put this sign on there. So the park was the one who cut the. So when they say don't bully me, I'm not sure what they mean. Maybe they mean don't sit on it or don't like, I don't know. Don't cut that one branch. I don't know what, but isn't that kind of funny how they put that on there? Yeah, I'll try my best. Don't bully me. I'm doing my best here. Throw me a bone. I just think that's cute. But anyway, like I said, when you first get here, everything's wonderful. It's just Japan is a perfect world. Everything works perfectly, and you just can't get over how perfect the society is. And I was there too. I was exactly in that spot thinking, wow, this doesn't get any better than this. Like this is a what do we got here? Let's see this one. Just a quiet. Oh, is he there? The guitar guy? No, this is somebody else. No, that's an actual guitar. That's somebody with a guitar. Wow, I didn't even know there was a guitar there. I didn't notice at the time. So yeah, it's beautiful, just a beautiful day. A lot of crows too, a lot of crows, karas, a lot of crows in the park. But yeah, people just enjoying these videos. Something's wrong with us. So yeah, so getting back to my point about things not being, my friend put it well. My friend Mick, who's been here for many years and married and everything and family, he's like, it's sort of like when you look at a workstation, and I guess he put it in this way because he was working for Canon doing manuals, writing manuals for cameras. Anyway, and he was saying it's sort of like a workstation, a computer workstation. You first look at it and you see this, sleek monitor. The keyboard looks great. You've got this great mouse with a really stylish mouse pad, and everything looks great. You've got your external hard drives and all this, and everything looks, and then one day you have to like do something and you got to look behind the computer and you see all the wires sticking out of it, right? And then maybe another day something goes wrong with it and you've got to take the back of the computer off and you see all this just dust in there and crap in there. And suddenly this pristine workstation looks, and you've got it, all opened up. And suddenly it looks like, oh man, it looks like holy hell. So it's like he put it like that. Like it takes a while. Like at first your workstation is running fine, so you don't need it. But after a while, things break. After a while, you need to add stuff to it. So he gave us that analogy, which is I think is apt. Which is apt. This is where is this? This is Kichijoji. This is downtown Kichijoji somewhere. Yes, okay, that's one. Let's go to another one of our well, that's something I wanted to talk about, maybe. Let's try this. Okay. So we've got some cars. Yeah, so let's take a look at some cars in the neighborhood here. Not to jump different different topics over here, but we're just sort of, yeah, we're just going through stuff, going through files. And let's stop that for a second. Yeah, just going through files. and seeing what we have. And I know the lighting here is a little bit weird. I've got this weird kind of 80s. I like this 80s light. Like, you know, remember the 80s movies? They'd always have like a Venetian blind mat over the light. So you get this like striped. I like that. I'm living in the 80s. Totally. Let me take a step here. So, oh, and I almost knocked over my spice thing here. Take a look at this. I know I'm jumping all over the place with topics, but just bear with me. Can you read that? It's called Cavender's All-Purpose Greek Seasoning, an ancient Greek formula. Can you see? I know the lighting's messing it up. I'm telling you, this stuff is delicious. Wow. A friend of mine sent me, actually the same person who sent me this, Kyoko, the nurse. She's a head nurse up in Saitama there, Kawagoe. And she sent me the and tons of peanuts and cashew nuts. But I don't know. I love peanuts. I love peanut butter. I love cashew nuts. And I just heard something the other day that put a shock, just a shudder up my spine. Now tell me if you don't know this. I didn't know this. I'd heard rumors, you know, but that peanuts and peanut butter, yeah, as we know, they're not really nuts. They're legumes. We know. Yeah, that's old news. Okay, that's not a shock. But what was shocking was that they have this like a mycotoxin or something, some kind of a toxin that doesn't smell. It's like a mold. Doesn't smell, you can't see it. I'm not talking about when peanuts get moldy, because they do. I don't mean that. I mean that a lot of peanuts have this anyway. And I guess it's because it's the way they grow and the fact that they need to repel parasites. So they, just like any nightshades, peanuts are not nightshades, but it's like nightshades, you know, they need to repel pests. So they develop these really strong toxins, poisons, and peanuts, I guess, have something in them that is so dangerous that it can cause cancer. It can kill your liver. It can give you liver cancer. And the guy I was listening to was talking about how, like, you know, do you go to bars? You know, when you go to bars, he says the bartender is not killing you with the drinks. You're dying from the peanuts. That's the worst thing you can do in a bar is eat the peanuts, not drink the alcohol. He said, because the peanuts, if you eat enough peanuts, they contain this stuff in them, and it gets into your system and it gets into your liver, and it could give you organ failure, organ damage. And I'm like, what? I never heard this. And this guy was recommending just do not eat peanuts. Do not eat peanut butter. Throw them out. When you have a bag, just throw them out. Don't even bury them, because animals will eat them and then they'll die. Just get rid of them somehow. Burn them. And I'm like, come on. So I look it up. He's right. He's totally right. They have a very dangerous toxin in them. Peanuts specifically. All nuts apparently do, but peanuts especially. So that is why peanuts are the most regulated, supervised nut. I know they're not nuts. I know, of all, because of this dangerous I'm going to call it a mycotoxin. This mycotoxin, this fungus, mold. It's not really, but it's something like that. It's a toxin. So, and like right on cue, I get a box yesterday, which was my birthday, by the way, April 1st, April Fool's Day. It's true, my birthday. And I got a box, huge box delivered, birthday box from a friend, and it contained 3 bags, huge bags of cashew nuts. I love cashew nuts. I love them. I mean, we're not talking about, like, you know, snacking on these things, when you snack on. Can you still hear me? I don't know. Still, I'm not talking about the kind you snack on. I'm talking about, like, you know, a big, look at this. This is like, I know everybody back in the States is like, that's not a big bag. But believe me, for Japan, this is a huge bag of cashew nuts. And I know in the States, you're like, you know, you're used to going to Costco and things and Sam's Club. And this is like, you know, something you get on an airplane for you guys. No, this for here, it's huge. This is huge. Let's see. These are from, and of course, they're from India and Vietnam. Perfect. Perfect. You know, not exactly places that maybe have the, you know, top food supervision systems in place. But, you know, no, not casting aspersions against India or Vietnam. I love them. I love them all. Love those places, but love those people. But yeah, some food does slip by the inspectors. Anyway, so I've got these peanuts here. I don't know what to do with these cashews. I don't know what to do with them. I got this natural peanut butter she sent me, which I was looking for. Organic, natural. Once again, organic doesn't have anything to do with it. It's not the pesticides. It's the actual peanuts that have this. Like the pesticide might actually be better. Oh no. Anyway, that's where I'm at. So, um, I've got these issues to deal with. Huge problems, right? Huge. Okay, let's take a look at another video here. So we've got, um, and I want to leave that whole discussion of when you first come to Japan and then how you change. We'll leave that for another day. That can get kind of dark, a little bit negative, and I don't want to be negative. Let's be positive. So, and we just had that peanut story. That wasn't very fun. So let's shift gears. Let's literally shift gears and get over to some vehicles here. So we're gonna go to Finder. Yeah, Finder of Lost Loves. What is it? Finder of Lost. And we've got, let's say we've got a little Honda 660. Let's see what this is. Let's take a look. Oh, okay, that's on my bicycle there.
Okay, yes, so we're up on top of the hill here. Top of Mitaka, they say. It's not a very big hill. And I actually came up here to photograph a car. Right here, see that little car in there? That guy there.
Yeah, interesting.
With the, as Americans would say, JDM mirrors, the forward mirrors there on the fenders. Of course, we don't call them JDM mirrors here in Japan.
I'm not sure if you can hear the volume or not.
JDM, I didn't know. I
think I'm just talking low there. So I'll just zip ahead. Yeah, this.
What it is? It's a GS something. A GS.
Yeah, so it's this cute little car. I thought it was cute, and it was like painted with like a broom. Really, really lousy paint job on it, but
pretty rough paint job on that.
Yeah, there you go. Painted right over the rust. Look at that. I used to do that. I used to paint over rust. I probably still would.
It's not nice
if I had a car.
Nice. Colt Gallant.
A Colt Gallant. How about that? A Colt. This is a Colt. I just noticed there's a license plate in the bush there. I didn't see that.
It's a Colt Gallant.
It's a cute little car. It's like a getaway car, isn't it? Like the kind you see in a bank heist or something.
Oh, Grand Sport. Yeah, there we go.
Grand Sports.
So GS, just like the Buick GS Grand Sport.
Oh yeah, so I added some graphics there. Yeah, GS Grand Sports Buick. And I had a Buick. I had a 71. I know that guy. He lives down there.
I've seen that guy before.
Yeah. Let's jump ahead. And
1960s.
so it's just a cute little car, a little chunky looking. I just like the look of it. You know, it looks like something you'd see. Yeah, big tires on it. Looks like something you'd see in Goodwood or somewhere. Now here's something totally different. And now for something completely different. Take a look at this. That's my Cub there. I'm on my Cub.
That is cool. What is that, a Jag? I see a Jag emblem in the grill. I've never seen one of these before. What is this thing? That is really cool.
I can definitely see it's a Jag from here.
Holy cow. That's great. Look at that front end. Man. That looks like a Jaguar. That is a cool looking car. I don't like the red top, red interior. I think about red interior. I don't care.
I hope you can hear me there. Talking about the interior color red. I don't care for red. Look at this. Look at the front tires. Look at the rims. It's almost like the caster's off, or the camber. The camber, right? Yeah, the camber's off. It's like the tires are closer together on the top than they are the bottom.
You like it?
I think somebody modified this car. I think it's modified. Those tires look bigger than they would normally, but I don't know. It's a Jag for sure. Beautiful car. Beautiful color too. I don't like the red, but the red top's okay, but I don't like red interior at all. At all. And then I think the video stops about here. Yeah, just how about that? So that's kind of cool. Like you saw, I was on my like you saw, I was on my Honda Cub there, my Honda Super Cub, which is what my vehicle of choice that I ride here. And I like to go around and take pictures of things when I'm on my Cub, so I do that. I used to keep a blog years ago, before even YouTube existed. I had a blog, Super Cub blog, or it's called. It was on Blogger. It's still there, but I haven't updated it in years. But I would take pictures, and this is way before there was social media. I mean, blogs were the only thing. There was no Facebook, there was no YouTube. Google Video existed, and a few other companies, iFilm, um, stuff like that. There was no YouTube. Didn't exist yet. There was no Facebook. There was no MySpace even. Nothing like that. So blogs were the only thing. And I remember at the time I would ride around in my Cub and I would use my phone, my flip phone camera, and I would, or video, and I would take some video, and I would upload it directly from my phone using some special thing. I had to like email it to a special place, and then that email service would send it to my blog. It was a blog, it was a special address for your blogger, for Blogger. And I thought this was the coolest thing in the world. You could do this, right? And so I would update it like on the road. Now, of course, everybody that's done all the time. You're doing it live, right? But back then it was pretty cool. Um, and let's see, here's another one. Uh, let's take a look with I'm not sure what this is actually. Let's take a look at another one. Okay, we got the Finder here. Finder of Lost Loves, whatever. Finder of Lost something. There's a movie like this.
You know, it's just getting harder and harder to
Oh,
fight. It really is.
I'm complaining
Like,
about
you know,
trees.
I often park here because of nice trees that shade the bike. Well, look what they did to the trees. These were the two nice trees that were here.
I don't see.
And I have no idea why. I think
Oh,
because of leaves.
oh yeah,
Cut
look at
the
that.
trees down. And they do this kind of cutting into them. I'm not sure what that does. Prevents further growth or encourages it, I don't know, but this is my spot here where I would park, and see they've swept up all the leaves out of here as well. And Japanese people are very anal about leaves, really anal about grass and leaves. So I would park here because these trees gave me a nice shade, but now they cut, and then they also cut the branches too.
Yeah, so you can hear me
It's a shame.
complaining. It just really set me off.
All
Like
today I've been out here trying to enjoy the fall, and everywhere I went, everywhere I parked, I'm not joking, every single place I parked, there was something that pissed me off like this. Yeah, I actually went to the park. Talking about park, I went to the actual park, and they had like 15 retired people there with leaf blowers and rakes and tongs, picking up every single leaf they saw. And I'm like, what the fuck? I mean, this is inside the park. This is not on the road. This is not, on a wall, even on a walkway. It's on the grass. And they're picking up every fucking leaf.
okay. You can
Package.
see, like I said, you start to
No,
complain about things.
I'm not like totally.
So obviously venting, which is always good. Oh, look at these dogs, which is always good. So I recommend that. But I'll be out on my Cub like I was there, and you can clearly see I'm totally pissed off. Yeah, because and this was the fall. I realized this is a fall video, so this goes back a bit. But yeah, I'll just see here. You see leaves. This is normal, right? As you're looking down. This is inside the park though. But and on that street it was fine because that street was a little bit different. That's why I like to go there. But like I was complaining, every other street was just way too clean, way too swept of leaves. And in the fall, we like to have leaves. We like to have leaves on the ground. We like to slush through them, however you want to say it, with your feet, sweeping through the leaves. We love that for the fall. So I don't know why, I don't know why they do that, but they do. It's prevalent all throughout Tokyo, maybe all throughout Japan. And it's just, and I don't know if it's a recent thing or not, but there's something about leaves. It's the fact that they're dead. And the Japanese get very upset about seeing leaves on the ground. It's because they're dead. They should be removed immediately. So, like I said, I've seen in the video I was complaining about it. I've been out 2 in the morning, 2 in the morning, 2, 3 in the morning, and I've seen little old ladies with tongs picking up leaves. No joke. I am not joking you. One of these days I'm going to film them. I tried one time, but she saw me, so I didn't want to be a jerk. But it's true. It's true. But anyway, I think we got one more, and this is kind of a fun one. Let's get away from that, complaining guy Gene thing like me. And let's go Saturday morning cartoons. Here's another thing I wanted to talk about at some other time, some other podcast episode. Saturday morning cartoons. And we grew up with these things when we were kids, right? Saturday morning cartoons, you get up, you watch the Saturday morning shows. It was always it's a tradition, you'd have your breakfast, your sugar cereal, your ridiculously high fructose syrup on your pancakes, whatever, your Pop-Tarts, all the stuff you should not be eating, we know. But of course, as kids, we ate this stuff back in the day. This was normal. And we watched cartoons, right? Bugs Bunny, Underdog, Tennessee Tuxedo shall not fail. Don Adams doing Tennessee Tuxedo. There were so many, right? So many. And then of course the He-Man and G.I. Joe and Spider-Man, Batman later on. So many cool ones. And I thought, wow, in Japan, do they have? They created Speed Racer. I grew up watching Speed Racer, never knowing that it was a Japanese creation, never knowing that. Same with all the Christmas shows, Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, Little Drummer Boy, Year Without Santa Claus is Coming. All those were produced in Japan, just so you know. They were all produced. Those are all Japanese puppets. They are all Japanese puppet operators. The animation was all Japanese. It was narrated, of course, by Fred Astaire or whoever, Burleis, and it was put together in the U.S. But basically, all the animation you see was done in Japan in small little cottage industry animation studios, not far from me here, somewhere in Nakano. I'm in an animation heavy location. There's lots of studios around here. Many of the people I know are animators. So anyway. So I grew up watching these shows, never knowing they were Japanese. But I wonder, wait a minute. So of course, since Japan made so many of the shows that I watched as a kid, what are they watching? I mean, are they watching the Japanese version, the domestic version, the JDM version of Speed Racer? No. Well, they were back in the day, and all the other ones, Gigantor, Robot 8. There's so many. But those days are over. They have newer ones, of course. And I thought, let's take a look. So let's take a look and see. Just a quick look here, glance. We'll end on this coming up on our closing time here. So let's take a look. We've got this one should be okay. Now, obviously not a cartoon. Live action. Sort of like a Power Rangers kind of thing. But you have to admit, it's pretty impressive. It's mixing a lot of different mediums. It's got computer animation, live action, stunts, just regular guys in costume doing stunts. Now, of course, all these things you can buy, and all these are toys. Look at this. Now, pretty violent. Now we're into like video game territory here, right? Ultimate Fighter and all this kind of thing. Oh boy. So I guess she's trapped inside. Yeah, she's trapped inside that creature, that robot. And he's trying to save her. Now it looks like they just filmed this like right down the street. Like it's like no place special, behind some factories. Yeah, see, it's a very game-like, very much like a video game. Now we, now we cut to the villain's lair, right? But is that great? That was so much fun? Like I totally didn't know that was going on. I'm going to tune in next Saturday morning. And on that happy note, we will say sayonara to you, and please tune in next time. We'll talk about who knows what, but I just thought I would just take a look at some videos and things, stuff in the street and obviously stuff off of TV. So just to see what we had, see if this would work, see if this format would work for the podcast. In other words, share screen and do that, see if it works okay. So we'll check that all out and then decide if we're going to continue doing stuff like that. But it seems like it might work, so we'll check it out. Okay, have a great day, everybody. Robbie here in Tokyo, Japan. Cheers from Tokyo, Dreamland, Japan, and all those good stuff there. Check out the podcast, check out the website, subscribe, donate if you can. We'll take anything we can get. We're broke. And help us out, and we want to keep making these things, and we'll do the best we can with what we've got. We hope to upgrade some of our equipment, but we're basically we're using what we already have. That's what, whatever you have right now is the best thing for you. So that's what I'm doing. But we hope to increase the budget a little bit so we can provide you with a better experience and not have to rough it looking at footage shot through a potato, as they say. Okay, take care, everybody, and we'll catch you next time around there. Cheers.